This one did not charge fully. I don't know where it was in, since it was loose over there. I guess it was in my battery charger specific thing. See, I've got two chargers that work okay. This camera and this camera, both my newest cameras. That one died after replacing the one I'm using right now, and I don't like to use a camera that works as a charger because the connections eventually kind of wear out, but I get frustrated. Anyway, this one's becoming more and more problematic. And we are in Seljuk, entering into the second year. What has happened? A little bit of blundering around, definitely some mistakes and whatnot, but the Romans conquered Kliat. Oh, I didn't return home with that guy. The Seljuks conquered Edessa. Conquests are kind of nice because they count towards the unity, but they don't go away. But honestly, I would rather plunder all over the place with the Seljuks, and that's what I got to learn. With the Seljuks starting up here, we almost certainly need to work on the alliance and get it running again. Leadership, we lost the dude that starts down here in Hama. He's gone for good. He was defeated by Shataturus over here, but he was unable to take his territory. And in terms of points, we're doing okay. You know, it's a close game. The Romans have pulled ahead by a half point, but that's not devastating. And considering that, you know, they got an objective, they have a conquered marker, all kind of stuff like that, this is probably pretty easy for the Seljuks to retake because it's in their territory, in the heart of their territory. Although that may not be what they're most concerned about because it doesn't count towards their unity requirements. Outside of the game, I just noticed I have Triumph and Tragedy. I picked up Conquest and Consequence with the assumption that they kind of work together. Did the same thing with Gathering Storm and Storm over Asia. I haven't played either of them, either of the Asian setup games. The Triumph and Tragedy system is the war as well as the pre-war. But anyway, I haven't gotten to go back to the filled in the gap, got both games, you know. And I'm kind of sad because I just noticed GMT just put out something that links these two. I had assumed that the linkage rules would be in that big Conquest and Consequence box. Looks like I have to buy another. But it did lead me to thinking, you know, I know people want me to return to certain games. Unfortunately, these two, with, you know, expansions going on in the system and everything, are more likely for me to return to than something like La Grande Guerre or EU, which I know people are like, oh, you really should do that again. I don't know, you know, it's just like, I really want to try this thing that I've never done, you know, as opposed to returning to stuff that I've played before. But anyway, hey, I played this twice now. Let's go downstairs for a bit again, and we'll start this new year soon. Pushing into another levy stage. First one I got was an Alp Arslan consolidates power. This is marked. That is going to reduce the number that I need here by the number of permanently eliminated lords, which is kind of a consolation for losing someone. It makes some sense, and in a way, it's not a bad thing. This guy's kind of useful, I guess, but him being gone, you know, dropping this by one, he failed to do anything effectively because of this guy. Now, this guy becomes a lot less important with him there gone, but you might be able to gain Hama back for the Fatimids, I guess. The other one is unpredictable weather. We're going to have passes can't be used. There's no mark for this, but I thought there's a no passes chit over here. I thought there was. There we go, passes closed. This is not a normal one. It's only for this campaign, but that'll help remind me. This one's actually out of play. Flip the Roman ones over, I guess. Afson murders a Seljuk officer. Afson Berg's fealty, Beg, is 2. Okay. And later on, we get some nasty stuff that happens to other lords too. But that makes him a lot harder to bring into play. Armenian resistance, if Kaliat, Manzikert, or Erkesh is Seljuk friendly. Choose one and place a Roman conquered marker. Which one do we want? We have Kiliat, so we don't have to take that. Manzikert and Erkesh. Manzikert's easier to take, so I am going to place this, and that gets me another Roman victory marker out there. Yeah, things are in the wrong place. These go away. Pay and disband. Oh, we got problems. Alp-Arslan is getting close. If I had loot, I would definitely be spending it here. But of course, if I had loot, I would probably have put it there. I mean, I did, but... do I want him on the field? Yeah, I mean, he's got a coin. He might as well stay on the field. And with Alp-Arslan, I'd be losing two of my units. This, I think, is worth recycling rather than getting the cash. So he's not going to be able to be taken this turn. But then next turn I can, well, next turn I have to upgrade Arslan. You know what? Instead of that, since I didn't remove the pieces, I'm going to pay 1 and boost these. Because I have 2, 4, 6, 8, which is exactly what I want. My best lead, my best troops there. We'll just push him forward. I got to be careful though. I got to get money. Because bad things could happen without money. And that's true with both my leaders, which means I got problems. I've got a... Shit. There's dampness on my finger. Probably from my dripping nose. Yeah, I gotta clean that up. I gotta be careful because I need to make sure that I reestablish that. Realize I just looked this up because I had a question about that. I can't tax here. Which puts me in a troublesome position. Oh boy. I mean, I can use loot to keep people on the board and whatnot, but I need to get more lords up there because next turn he's going to be lost. That's fine. But the turn after that, Alp Arslan goes away. Maybe the historical when he went away, but I'm not going to get another opportunity to keep Arslan on the board. And he's in good shape in this game. I don't particularly want him to go away, but I can't tax in that location. I think I cheated. Well, no, because I fucked up. I probably didn't cheat. Going to this side. I have coins. I'll pay him. I have coins. I'll pay him. Like, it's very unusual to throw a lord away, to recycle a lord when you have coinage. Diogenes does not need to, somehow. I recycled that, that's why. Okay. So nothing should disband this turn. We have a number of lords. I don't know where to put these. There's so many markers covering. And then there's text on these, but that text for the most part doesn't matter unless it's down here. Right? Yeah, this cuts the ravage at the end of the turn. So we're on the painful muster phase. Okay. Now that I have a fresh pipe lit. It's a rainy, ugly day again. Didn't want to go shopping, but instead of complaining, well, I got one thing to complain about. I put some of my magazine games, about 4 of them that I've clipped recently, into my damn file cabinet. It's such a pain to access and deal with that file cabinet. I wish I hadn't brought it here. It's such a piece of garbage. I should just, I should have just trashed it. Now, I don't know. But it made more sense when I had the counters in boxes in some ways, and only use the front half of each drawer in the thing. But I was like, this is stupid. I shouldn't be using boxes. They weren't working. But anyway, I was going down to throw my garbage out. And I get outside. I don't have a lot. I pull my little can down. But as I come outside, there's a buck out there. Tiny, tiny little antlers, but looks full-sized. I was expecting more antlers at this time of year, to be honest. Might be broken ones. About 10 feet from me. And looked like a young adult. And, you know, kind of wanders away a little bit. I follow him down with my trash. And he stays about 10 feet away, but is just nibbling and, you know, not really too concerned about me. They have very little fear up here. You know, nobody hunts them or anything here because it's in city limits and everything. You know. But yeah, it's just kind of neat. You know, I just walk down the driveway and he's there. Anyway, let's get to the damn muster, I guess. Force myself to. And you know, I was thinking about this. I think this is going to keep me from doing Conquest and Consequence for longer, actually. Although I kind of want to do it as a standalone before I do the two together. But now I have to wait until that clears P500 and everything. So that puts that one off for a couple of years, even though it was kind of near the top of my list, which Storm over Asia was not, because I really don't want to do a World of War type suit. I mean, that's such a big undertaking, right? Whereas doing the Triumph and Tragedy and Conquest and Consequence together, is a relatively light game. I keep trying to avoid doing the muster. Problem I notice, Afson Bey is my best leader left who's available right now. Now, Artuk Bey is almost as good as Afson Bey in his best, but these others are all two command leaders. Now, they can bring forces into me, and that can be useful if I need larger armies, but they're not that impressive in terms of forces particularly. If there was somebody with really strong force, I would be like, oh, cool. They're also, shit. Oh, he can be in either of these. One's here, there. Now, Afson Bey is here. Wonder if I can levy here. I doubt it. That feels weird. My Lord is mustard. It says one of his free seats, and then the call to arms. Lords may not tax, and only one may serve as a supply source per command card. Place the Lord's seat. I think I could muster here. It's not absolutely clear. Maybe the Merwind Alliance card has additional information, but you would think because this is, has its own role, it would specify. Honestly, you'd think it would specify one way or the other. This is the problem. It is a seat. But I wouldn't be able to do it this turn because call to arms comes after the mustering. I can come up with rationales either way. I'm going to go with the rules as written essentially seem to allow me to muster here. Once it's established. So next turn I have that capability. Fuck. There was something else though that was in my head and now it's dropped. I don't remember. Fuck. Oh, yeah. So on the other side of this, on the event side, one Seljuk Lord may exchange any one of his cards for coin or vice versa. That's very powerful because it allows me to levy coin essentially or buy cards with coin, which is less valuable, but if I'm in enemy territory or something, could be really helpful. But I can't hope that it's one of the two cards I draw. This is too important. So I will presumably never have this unless I'm in some kind of weird situation, where I'm conducting my campaign entirely out of here or something. Which is dangerous because Romanos can go with an army and pretty much fuck with whatever Alp Arslan can put out. He has the capability to put a better army in the field. That I'm convinced of. This is an asymmetrical fight. The Seljuks are fighting to be able to raid and whatnot, and not really hoping to conquer major things, which is what makes Manzikert kind of particularly interesting, right? Manzikert, I mean the historical battle, not the location in the game. It's nothing particularly all that intriguing. It's just yeah, you know, for the Seljuks to win a massive battle against the combined Byzantine forces is a big thing. That can change the nature. And, you know, the Byzantines will call for crusades and all kind of stuff like that. All right. Are we getting into this yet? I keep trying to avoid the damn mustard. So my choices were picked up a card on each one. But after that, I went for Afson Bay. I figured I'd got 2 shots. I took 1 on him. I got lucky with that 2 that I needed. So he's on the board. That's useful. He can tax and march up. Not sure precisely what I'm doing with Alp Arslan, but I could use Afson Bay. That's 1. 2, he could get here and do some supplying. 3, 4, he could grab 2 coin. That could be useful to keeping forces in the field as long as he's with them. So that's helpful there. He can't muster on his own or anything like that, but that'll get me some coin. And that's my big worry, is that I lose Alp Arslan, you know, due to not having coin, and lose the game that way. I didn't see any Art of War that I wanted. I could conceivably have run for another commander up here. I didn't see that as particularly valuable. I'm actually thinking I don't want to push into Roman territory this turn, because spring is when things kind of recover. So I might operate up here. I also have mountain pass here, which means that my supply sources are not as good as I would like, even after I do this. Plus I don't have coin to refresh it or anything like that. I gotta think real carefully what I want to do. Well, I have enough carts that I can trace back to here, even if I'm up here sieging. And that gives me an opening to this direction. Whereas, I mean, it's the same, really, right? This is a little closer than that. All right. Anyway, this is what I'm going with for muster. I go over to the Byzantines. More about not the game. You know, when I combine like my little breaks between turns or actions in the game and the game itself, it kind of eats up everything that I do in a day. Like, the question is what the breaks are going to be. And right now, I'm kind of addicted to my stupid computer games, which I don't need to be. Like, right now, I could be just reading instead. But I know at other times, reading won't make me as happy because I won't have a book I'm enjoying. So there's that. There was something else. Some other stupid, inconsequential thing I wanted to talk about. I have 2 things in mind, but once I start talking about one of them, the other one disappears. Oh, well. Now this is really random. I noticed when I was at the bar with people that I felt like I trusted the most, like if I kind of trust someone more, if they offer a handshake or something, I don't go for a normal handshake. I, don't do anything kind of jive or anything. What I do is I actually reach, putting a couple of fingers over their wrist, which to me is very weird because that's almost a don't trust that person as much, right? Like, you're checking to see if they have a dagger on their wrist in terms of like how that kind of clasp was done. And I found that kind of weird. Like, I don't mind, like a standard handshake is fine when I meet random people. But if it's someone that, like in this case, it was my bartender, and you could say, well, maybe there's and it is funny because he always has a fucking blade on him, but not on his wrist, it's on his hip. But yeah, there's something almost like, the meeting of warriors who trust each other a little bit, but then, why with people I'm more comfortable with do I go for that? Very, very odd to me. Those, I'm not sure how to process this, looked in there, didn't find an answer. It's not absolutely, like I can clarify it in my head, but under mules, this lord's first march across a pass spends only one command even if laden. So the big question is, could I do it over one, not that one, but over this one? There are no passes coming out of that box, so it seems ridiculous if I could. But I went to look up to make sure there was no clarification. There is no clarification. I don't even know why I looked it up, because the clarification would be that you can't do it there, right? But it's like, because this uses an entire command card, but it feels like, it would not make sense that mules would allow me to travel this more quickly than this, right? Anyway. Just showing you the kind of thing where, like, I could see a rules lawyer trying to make the argument that, well, it says this, which would be particularly problematic in a game where things are hidden. But because then they wouldn't want to ask, because it would reveal something. But that's the way my mind works, and why rules are problematic for me in a way, but I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. You can't do that. I come to the right decision, I think. But anyway, points that I'm coming to. One is, like the Seljuks are considering not moving into Roman territory until after spring, the Romans are also considering not trying to push past the Roman boundaries so that they get that extra muster before they go. Anyway, I'm going to play the Armenian garrison. I haven't decided where the point comes from. But I was considering the points here. This guy wants to take a cart, no problem. I do that. We'll put these all out so that I know how many commands each leader has. He grabs a cart. But I don't think he wants to take a second one with his command, because I would rather consolidate lots of stuff on one leader. So only that leader suffers wastage. So this guy would not get any wastage from what he's doing. Now, obviously, if he ends up with provender on him or whatever, it could happen. But I'm trying to make sure that I've got leaders in my force that aren't going to have that. I do want to muster more leaders, get more on the map, get a bigger force out there. What I can do. This guy is not terribly interesting to me, which is why I'm not all that excited about using her. I feel like her best use is actually to drop someone so that I can keep Romanos on the field if he runs out of coin or something. That makes this more of a reserve safety to prevent me from, like, not losing the game, because losing Romanos does an auto loss, but essentially being put way behind the 8-ball in terms of leaders and whatnot. Still trying to think of what I want to do with him. He's got a lot of fucking cards. He's got a couple of coins. He's useful at this point. But I was also thinking, you know, I could just keep him behind and try to run him as someone to muster people for me or whatever. It's just, there's so many hard decisions in this game. I spent 3 rolls trying to get Romanos in. It's a hard call between him and Tarkanialis, but he's got a higher lordship, which means he's more useful on recruiting. He's got better troops by a little bit. By quite a bit, actually. He's potentially my secondary commander if I end up having to get rid of Diogenes. I really want him. I've burned all of his. I burned one of his, I think, unless I bought the cart with him. I burned one of his. I really, really want this guy to give me that hammer blow that keeps the Seljuks off the field. But I'm getting worried. I forgot to do something with this loot. I should have paid someone with it. He got paid once. I don't know what he did, but I'm gonna throw a pay on him. I don't like doing that because I'm wasting it, but I know I need to move, so I want to pay him off before that. I bought a cart with him. I think I can't take this guy, which sucks because I would like to have him in my army, but the 50-50 seems too weak compared to getting a couple more of these. I've just gotten a really bad string of luck. So, yeah, I wasted a lot of my musters and didn't get anything out of them. Fuck, I didn't even buy this. Okay. Yeah. Running my programming, but I can't do that yet. I got to do the levy first. I'm paying this. Which one? No. Not allowed to tax, so I don't know. Do I want to recover those? I think so. So I'm going to place here, actually. And then for these, I'm going to take another strategic objective. Because I've got somebody in Constantinople, so I can do that. And then I can lay it down if I wish, or just keep it in reserve. And now I go to the programming. I want to do the programming first because I have certain thoughts about how much I need to tax and everything that I don't want to leave my head. I'm actually having thoughts of just leaving Diogenes here in Constantinople with his force because I didn't get that second leader, and just tax the shit out of the seat and have a lot of money. And money's good. I'm not sure I'm gonna. I don't generally want to do that, but the borders are so far down in this one that I don't know. I forgot about passes not being able to be used. Wow, that's just horrible. He can't operate this way or this way. I'm going to move that there because of that. Because I'm looking at a possibility of heading down this way to go for Antioch, which does mean he can make it, yeah. So that's what he's going to head for. I don't know. But again, yeah, with the bad weather, that kind of stymies him even further towards what he's able to do. Set this camera so it doesn't ask me to set the date time all the time. Every time I switch battery. It's because the CMOS or whatever equivalent is dead in it. But so for the Seljuks, my plan is to move him, use up 3 cards on him getting to here. It's a good 3 commander, and then use Alp Arslan for the rest. And I think I've got to move this way. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with the Romans. I did 3 Diogenes, 3 of him, and then 1 more Diogenes. The idea there being to try and be flexible to some extent, but I don't think I'm going to push too far with Diogenes. I think I'm going to do at least 1 tax, maybe 2, because each season requires a coin for each leader that you want to keep in the field. I don't feel like I should stay there to rally that other unit, because if I don't start making it to the border, I probably can't press whatever advantage I get on the battlefield to try to force Arslan's force back. But to be honest, 3 Arslan Lords versus this, I don't know. I got 9 units total here. I got a shit ton here. Granted, they're crap, but if I'm in friendly territory, I can muster more troops. Of course, I can do the same with the Byzantine units as well, so I don't know. And, no, this guy at Edessa has been conquered, so I can't raise him up there without taking that back. The other guy is somewhere stupid, not terribly useful. Yeah, I don't know what my plan is with the Romans. Anyway, we are going to pause for a bit. I gotta take me a dump. I don't know. It's so hard to. Between the game and the breaks, it eats up everything. Imagine my surprise when I come up here and flip the first card, and it's not what I meant. I wanted Afson Bay to go. I threw 3 Arasigis in instead. I'll just replace those. I'm gonna screw up. I looked at my hold cards here, and I tend to do this. Play on Romanos during muster for Lordship +1. I'm actually gonna cheat back and do this because I wanted that other leader, and I think I'm okay with everything else. He needed a 3, so 1 more shot at that. Okay, well, I failed anyway. I would have reprogrammed, although I don't think I needed to, possibly, but I'm glad it was a failure. Hudson Bay into location, some food on him. I'm not sure why he didn't tax. I think I forgot. Oh no, there he is. I put the food to the wrong guy. That's why. Good enough. I'm okay with this because I've got tons of carts in that location. Okay. And Romanos, yeah, I taxed twice and forgot to grab food. I was intending to move down here, but I'm okay. Although there really is the argument of just stick around up there and like tax again now. I hadn't made my mind up. We'll see what happens, whether or not I feel like I have to go down to Ankara on the last card, because that's the last card in their deck. And now we're on Alp. I don't want to give this period up. I can't go over the passes, so my plan was to head down this way. We'll try it. Struggles is, you don't want to move if you don't have to. Like, you want to do your movement on 1 card, for the most part. And just because of the move fight penalty of having to eat. So what I don't want to do is like, and this is what I first thought of doing, gather 2 food and then move 2 spaces. That doesn't really do me much good. Unfortunately, I would eat all my food. Now, let's see what I can take because of my carts. I've got 3 extra spaces. This guy doesn't have one. This puts me in a problematic situation. I don't have the additional command or anything that I thought I might have. What was this? Not useful. So I think I'm gonna have to do that move and fight stuff that I didn't want to, or move and supply that I really didn't want to do. Yeah, I really didn't, because it eats up my time. The painful situation of this Shadatorius here, sitting in Antioch, thought he'd be available to do things on his own, but it's obvious that Alp is coming my way, and with the unpredictable weather, I should have known. What do I want to do? I could run and hide back here. Aleppo is enemy to the Seljuks right now, so it provides a significant defense, just that they have to work their way down. Actually, yeah, I don't know. I fucked up. What if I had 1 less food and bypassed to here? This would make more sense. I'm being clumsy. And like, this is the kind of mistake that gets you into trouble. But I did it recently enough. So let's say I went there instead. I still have enough carts I can grab my supply from here. And that'll give me a shot. Oh, this is my territory. No, it doesn't make a difference. We'll go back to what we were. I don't want to be close like that. I couldn't tell whose territory was whose, is what happened. I don't fucking know what I had now. Son of a bitch. I think I'm like that. I don't know. But yeah, now I'm like failing to operate properly. Like the game is just, I'm not mechanically handling it. I thought this was not my territory because of the border, but this is not my territory except that I took it. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Assuming that's right, I don't know. Moving 3 commanders, yeah. I'm gonna have to resupply again before I go. And that's really the ugly part of all this. I don't know what I did. All right, I'm back on him. I think I just tax, but there's a problem with this in that if Antioch falls, which I don't know if it's possible, like, I don't know if this force can take Antioch out, right? But if Antioch falls, then all that money gets captured. If Antioch doesn't fall, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I heading down this way, right? I feel like I don't have, like, I came up with this plan of moving this way to deal with him, but I can't really deal with him. He's going to be better defended. That's a level 3 fortress. And again, this is not a right now thing, but a level 3 fortress gives me, I don't know, 1 unit I could conceivably throw a couple of these in to help defend it, which might be a pretty good idea. But yeah, it's unlikely to fall under those circumstances, right? And it is the choke point. There's no way north in the direction I'm heading. Ouch. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, let's pull another Alp Arslan. I've got two more in here. Perfect. We moved in here. We did a single loot and destroyed one of the thematic units. And so we moved, raided, traced supply, fed, and we're down to 2 provender for 3 armies, but we do have a coin here, so it's not absolutely horrible. Assuming we can get away. You know. The other thing is, this is unlikely to attack. It's not in a good position for an attack. So the real question is, can we beat up a level 3 Antioch, which is as hard as an Aleppo, but in terms of walls. But if we look at the different cities, Antioch, no, I thought it was 1. Antioch's going to hold an infantry and a militia extra, whereas Aleppo would have held the big Seljuk defense. But if I shift up this way, because he's unlikely to attack, I'm in a position in the summer to operate in all kinds of ugly places. But I don't have much food. That's the problem. I was only able to get 1 provender by raiding, but I want the victory points and whatnot. How does he feel? He feels like he can defend it, so he'll keep taxing. You can't keep doing that. Oh, I have no fucking food. Doesn't really matter, I've got money. Yeah, but food is more valuable to me right now. I only have 2 commands. I have gardens. I'll be able to get food after I'm besieged, so I'm fine. I think we need food. We don't have any. We have 6 carts, which gets us back to there. So each move gets us a food. Each of our actions can get us a food, which means I can carry 4 food. I'm gonna grab 4 food. Because food's going to be hard to come by once I move up. Alp Arslan's last move is into here. I do have to feed. I'm only bypassing it, but I grab myself the Ravage with 2 movement points, and I grab an extra food with the other. So now I have loot. I have. It's going to make my next turn expensive to deal with, but it puts me in a place to go to Muppet Town or whatever it is down there. And that puts me to 1 more of these. I can't attack with this. I think I had better grab some food, because I don't know what's going to happen next turn. No, it's ravaged. Wait, did I fuck up? Am I unable to take food? I think I'm unable to take food. I gotta check that. I think even though there is a thing, I can't actually grab it. Ow! That's a serious fuck up. And tax is unravaged as well, I believe. Yeah. I've got a card I can do nothing with but pass, I think. Given that situation, I would have grabbed food. I was counting on, well, no, I wasn't thinking about him ravaging me, was I? I don't know. Let's leave it as it is. But yeah, I think, oh no, that's a Diogenes. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, I would have grabbed food. I didn't realize who I had coming up. Okay, and Diogenes, does he stick where he is or not? That's his big question. I think he does so he can muster more. We've got almost full here, so we'll grab another coin. Because I just don't want to finish there. That is going to put us to the end of campaign. It is spring, so we do the growth, which means all the ravagings get, well, half of them get eaten. Funny, I felt like I was going pretty well through that first year. Felt like I was going okay through that muster, through the levy phase this year. But now it's just falling apart and nothing is working right anymore. Like, I just don't have the grasp again. It's like the amount of focus that this game requires to stay perfect all the time, because you really have to. Like, and I don't even know if it's perfect, but the point is the amount of effort it takes to stay functional in this game is like the amount of effort it is to make perfect decisions in most other games. So the grow points dropped me way down in victory points, but again, this is where the Seljuk's effort is, so every spring they're going to lose lots of points and lose lots of ground on here. That puts me on wastage, and I got hard decisions to make here. This guy's fine. This guy. So I have 6 carts. I am not going to be able to use those carts to pull supplies from back here. Not until and unless I get here or something, you know, with this whole force. So I don't know that I need that many. I have 5 provender, so I can get rid of 1 cart here. But here, I don't want to get rid of either provender or cart. I can't get rid of carts. I don't want to get rid of provender. I think I'm going to throw the loot away. Useful as loot is, I'll be finding more of that elsewhere. Other options would be to get rid of some of my military cards. I'm worried that, like, the Romans are going to come down and wipe the floor with me. Come over here. I've kept this down to 1. Him. I'll get rid of a cart. Coins are more valuable, I think. And then over here, can't get rid of this if I want to muster it, so I'll get rid of a provender from him. I got to be running low on battery here. That's going to put me to reset. And are there arts of wars I want to discard? Like, you know, this one's useful. This one's useful. I think I'm okay holding on to what I've got. Which means, and we got it right this time, we put it on the military. We're going to be up there on levy going into the summer. He's got a summer card. This had its effect. And I'm going to break. Here we go again into the summer. Ready to pull cards. You know, one thing I was thinking about this game, in any of the levying campaigns, because you could probably get used to them as sort of a set, Plantagenet being the one biggest outlier of the pile. But the others, including this one, have so much in common that, you know, you could devote yourself to playing them, say, a third of the time or something. And there are enough different games that you could do that. Unfortunately, for me, there's just too many games in general. You know, I mean, And not counting my file cabinet either. All right, let's flip some cards and see what happens. By the way, I like, although it feels completely kind of at odds, the idea of pulling a couple of capabilities at the beginning of the game that are just random and free and whatnot. However, it is a little weird to start that way. Bad Omens. Hold. Play on a Seljuk command card to inspect the top 2 Roman plan. This is, again, a powerful card. It's summer, so I've got to remember the summer heat card. And then Norman Extortion. Add your treachery card to the season's deck and get a Roman no command. Some cards up as reminders for that. Just because it's too hard. Winter Campaign. Hold and play in winter before bounty to activate a Roman Lord. This is... I don't know if it's more power... I don't know if it's less powerful. Like, I can immediately see the Seljuk one because I can push myself further and then run home with it. Maybe. In order to collect the bounty. But this one gives me the capability to play... in order to screw up the Seljuk choices just before bounty, when they might, be pushing back home and into a place they wouldn't have been earlier or whatever. They might be coming closer to your lines, something of that line. I do wonder what happens if both are in play. I'm guessing the Seljuk goes first, just because they always do. And then Thracian Reinforcements. Return a themata service marker previously removed from play to its home thema. Okay, I'll pick one out. There's quite a few. Pumpkin. This one, first of all, appears appealing because that's where the action is, but here's the problem. There are already 3 plunders in there. Less valuable. This one, starting one, comes with whatever they are. I can't remember what they're called. One of them purple horsies. You've got it right here. Tagmata. Those are good. I got another one here in green that I like better, just because of location, although having 2 here might be valuable. I'm not too worried about that getting pillaged. I got one in dark brown, but there seem to be a lot of those. This is Melitine. I don't know. This is Iberia. This is up here. That's interesting. And then I have this dark green. I don't know where that's from. That's probably this. Not having anything there makes that something of a target, but is that big a deal? I'm going to put this one in play. Just, showing some of the struggle of a kind of thinking that I haven't had to show before. Paytime. I'm seeing no money here. Luckily, not so luckily. This is not Alp Arslan. Is he with anyone? He's with everyone. I could pay a coin to keep these forces in line, but I'm not going to, because, wait, I don't want to. Yeah, I do want to. I hate paying my coin for this, but I'm going to put that up here. That actually I pay to move this as well. So that actually helps me in a couple ways, keeping Alp in the field. Not Alf, Alp. Okay. That's the only thing I have to do there. Over here. I want to keep him in the field. I pay. Am I allowed to? He's not besieged, so I'm not going to even check the roll on that. What about orange? Ooh, ooh, hold on. I fucked up. I have one that I spent. I was spending it on an Alp. I could spend it on this instead. I gotta hope I get some loot. These two soldiers are not worth it. I'm gonna have paid him instead. So this comes in 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. This withdraws and goes here. They don't shoot off their whole service. So he can't be mustered this turn, but that's no big deal. There are no Romans that have to be paid. Well, I paid the one. Do I want to pay any of these others? Not yet. I'll keep the money in hand. Always an iffy thing. I check for loot, make sure I'm not sticking a loot around when I don't want one. That's always problematic. We got through the disband. We're on the always difficult muster phase. I'm trying to push in. No muster here. I sent all my lords that way. It's okay. But there's always a consequence to whatever you try to do in this game. On the other hand, for the Romans, they're all available. Being bypassed doesn't prevent you from mustering, I believe. Let me make sure. This thing is a one-turn only thing. Goes back. Empire massively strengthens its army. 2 more tagmata here. The imperial retinue affected here. I give them a central administration to give them more command. If I'm going to be fighting in imperial territory, I definitely want that. I managed to get Manuel, and then this gave itself a couple more infantry, making it so the siege of Antioch is really impossible. Question, of course, is, am I able to utilize this force? I don't really need it. This is sufficient to handle that Seljuk force. And so the Seljuks are going to be put in a really tough situation here, where they're blocked off here. And again, I was given, arguments as to say why Edessa is a choke point, and probably fits why this is as well, and Melitene, kind of is, why there isn't cross paths as easily as they are in certain places. I do still think that this one would make sense more than most, but who knows. But anyhow, it has to do with not just the land, but also the projection of power that the various fortresses give. But that's why I don't feel like there's anything that really prevents you from slipping into Edessa here. I don't mind Edessa being a choke point. I understand its power and its importance along things. I just don't know about that. Anyway. And you can make another argument for a connection here as well, I think. But again, like Melitene, I don't feel is preventing you from making this move, is kind of my argument there. Anyway, just clarifying my feelings on it. But, the designer has studied both the terrain and the political implications a lot more than I have. So some of it is just kind of a scratch in my head. Okay. But yeah, this puts the Seljuks in a really ugly position because I don't want to push forward and face the big Byzantine army. And it's not easy for me to get away from them. They're going to be able, just because of the way the terrain chokes me, where Tarsus is so important, and again, rightfully so here along the coast and whatnot. I'm fine with that. Just take a look at Imperium Romanum and you'll understand the kind of impact. The one thing you might argue is that there are light forces like the Turkic horse or whatever that might be able to use paths that aren't available to other people, something along those lines. I know there's an attempt to give them more capable movement, whether they get a free move or whatever, but that implies that they can't evade the choke points and roam a little bit more over other terrain. Of course, that would mean adding a different type of transit path that only they could use. Might be too much complexity. And there is something very interesting about how you get choked. But it's a part of what the heavy burden in terms of like what you can't do. So, what do? Fall back, right? Is that my only option? To give up this campaign that I've made here and hope to maybe, engage up here? I got a problem. I've got to meet this. That's a 12 right now because of the one missing leader. Right now, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I split my army up and scatter about? Well, that's not going to work terribly well from here because, again, I've got one path forward into Coolstuff. So I'd have to move Alp Arslan out and then scatter, and maybe that's my best plan because I cannot face that, those three lords. And then, there's the possibility of this guy even interfering, and if I scatter, all the more so. All kinds of interesting stuff going on. That was muster, call to arms. I'm out of coins. I don't have loot here, so Seljuks aren't doing anything. Romans are going to spend, no, not spend. They don't spend. They're going to put another strategic objective out. My goal is to hit the army. I can't guarantee who I might kill. I want these available. I'm in Constantinople. This is part of the reason I'm there. It's time for me to set my program in place for where people are going to go, and then hope I remember. Uh-oh, battery dead. Don't have the card that allows you to bypass stuff. I did not pick that. Not going to go back and try to fix that. If I did, something like moving to here might have been interesting. I don't know if Alp could take everyone with him under those circumstances, but I could have sent one lord that way. But it would be very appealing to cut up this way in many ways, because I could do some plundering on the way, but as it stands, I can move Alp 1, 2, 3, and then it gets harder, right? I might as well supply myself rather than move here unless I plan on going up further. Melitene gets me into the eastern stuff easy enough, so plundering in that direction might make sense. Okay. And I can split my commanders off in different directions to get them out of there. And of course, if the Romans come, I can always run away from them, as long as I'm not overloaded with material. I do have a serious problem, though. Next turn, I lose all but this lord if I don't have some coins or plunder or something to eat. That's a significant concern. And I have no capability to tax anywhere in my near vicinity. My taxation is here and there. And those are the only places I'm able to do it. Which why not, why you don't want to go out marching without enough coin. Same problem I had that killed both sides last game. Okay. Well, fuck me. My pipe falling off its stem. This happens to all of them eventually. The stem ends up, you know, swelling and contracting due to heat and whatnot, and moisture and all kind of stuff like that. And I end up having to put little pieces of paper in to hold them, and sometimes they're not well allocated. I just noticed something. I'll go over what my planning is in a moment. I've only got one of these in Odessa, but they're not worth victory points. So it's okay to just have one. Normally in the levying campaign, a 2-factor place, I'd have 2 of these there. The only ones that create victory points are 1-point guys. So there we go. That's my thinking. So Alp Arslan, his plan is 1, 2, 3 supply. I have too much food, but I'm going to have to eat quite a bit of it, so that's okay. Arsigi is going to go next. He has 3 commands, but he's all Turkic, so he can go 1, 2, 3, pillaging this, get himself a food and a loot, eat the food, and then I'm going to scatter and try to do what I can with the lords as I move about. Obviously, I would kind of like to end here, because that's real close, but whatever. I'm going to keep the other 2 together to move up, try to take this back, because I kind of need to do something about that before I can advance up here, but I don't know, we can decide as we go. I'm going to end with the treachery, and there we go. I'm actually using all 3 lords' command points, which is weird for me. For the Romans, I'm going to fire off a couple of taxes, I think. Then delay, then start prepping my move forward. I'm ending with a Chateautorius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that are real and a fake one. Manuel, I'm not using him. He's just there for the troops because he has 1 of each thing. That's perfect. Right. Parts that I'm most assured of. Hey, we made it here. Justice calculated. We made it up here. Justice calculated, except I forgot to eat, didn't I? Yeah. He went from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got to be careful with that. It's so easy not to place those, so I just kind of don't do it. But yeah, it's not optimal. Over here, taxation with both of these and a no command, letting the Seljuks develop where they're going to be, and now I move to deal with where they're going to be. Well, we'll let him do another turn, but then I have to kind of figure out, and he does another turn to there too, but then I have to figure out what my quickest route is. Do I want to go after this guy? Is that really valuable? Or, do I kind of guess that all my actions are actually related to that force and try to force it to not exist anymore? Of course, I steal the loot away if he has to run. The prep stage where, Alp Arslan used his command to gather food. Bireno, same thing. Make sure that you've got something so that you can make your next moves. And that's why I interleave when I have a commander. I interleave him with somebody else, whoever his best subordinate is, which here is guaranteed, but here it's him, so that I can supply my army and keep pushing it forward. And every now and then, it kind of sucks because he has a big 5 command right now. He can do a lot with it, but I needed to use his big card for that. I used one of his cards for tax. I probably shouldn't have. We're successful here. Now we're going to start being dicks. This one first. Play on a Seljuk command card to inspect the top 2 Roman cards and alternate them, if desired. That is going to be a Romanos and a Nisifos. I am indeed going to fuck with that. And what's worse is I can stick Romanos with a 1 command on his next time. Nisifos can't move these, or Nikifos. Therefore, the Romans are stuck with nothing good. I can grab 3 more food. That will put me to 6, 7 food. I only have 6 things. It's okay. It's not optimal, because I'm going to have to throw 1 away, but there's nothing else I could do in this look. I can't even levy. I was thinking I could levy these. No, I can't levy those until the muster phase. So I have fucked with his command heavily by alternating his pieces. Now it's Alp Arslan. I did successfully capture this, so now things are interesting. Where do I want to go raiding? Well, up here looks the tastiest. I could try to take away this point, but is that really worth anything to me? I don't think so. I think I want to push in right now. There's a problem with that, though, because I stopped there. 1, 2, 3. I go here instead. Give myself a bypass. I say I'm doing this. 1, 2, 3. That gives me 1 more. I could fight against that. That's regular infantry, I think. Or, and I got another one of this fucker. And then a fucking treachery. Oh, that's not going to help. This isn't going to work for me. I'm not going to... Could just siege that. What do I do? I don't know. I don't know what I do. Here I get stopped here. Yeah, I moved them both forward. 1, 2, 3. I gotta get ravaging. I'm gonna go for it. I only have 1. He's gonna put this in the way. I kill it. And I am successful. Over to a Romanos. Do I want to fuck with Romanos? I think so. I'm looking. There are 3 Romanoses used. I could hold off and let him get closer, but he can move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. He could screw with that. He can do it anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can get in my way here by placing himself here. I think I'm going to play it and force him to only take 1 action. He only has 1 command total. This is a great time to tax if I was someplace. I mean, I could tax and it would ravage. I have tons of coins. It doesn't seem worth it. I have 6 cart and 7 provender already. So that's not terribly good. Oh wait, I have this thing. I have 7 cart and 7 provender, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 cart and 7 provender. Yeah. I guess I move forward. I'm not thrilled about it. Cart is an Afsan Bey. He's got nothing but Turkic. So that's 1, 2, 3 to plunder there. Romanos with 5 big activations, and then he has a shot to Taurus I put as a kicker. I'm going to bring the army. I don't know where I can go. I can't attack Alf. Alf. Great. 1, 2, 3 to here, or 1, 2, 3 here. I can't split up, or it's not going to do me any good. I think this is my better move, but that means I have 2 supply runs I can take. I have 4, 5, 6, 7 food, 7 carts. I don't have a lot of food anymore. I only have 4. So let's take those 2 supplies first. That leaves me with 3 moves. See, presumably I can chase him out of both of these. Leave myself. I have plenty of carts. 4, 5, 6, 7 carts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm good. I don't supply. I march. 1, 2, 3 into here. He's got very little he can do. He's gonna have to run. He's overloaded with loot, so I capture that. Maybe sorta kinda. This falls back. It move eats to do so, but I've got no protection that I can do here. Wait, am I stopped or not? I don't know if a retreat, if a battle avoidance stops me. I gotta check that. Because if it does, I would have grabbed some food before I moved. So I've got like 2 food that I could have grabbed. But if I can hit both of these, I want to do that. I believe I can continue my movement. Couldn't find anything otherwise. So we'll continue marching into here. I certainly can't fight it with this. We fall back. We lose our loot again. And a provender as well. Oh. This guy's got a problem. He's there. He will disband at the end of the turn. I got no money on him. So he's going to just disappear. We'll remember that. He's not dead. He didn't go back far enough to die, but he does disband from the field because he didn't have the food for a march. And what did I do here? I lose a loot and a provender. That loot had to be discarded for me to move across the pass. Because Romanos took it, someone else could have picked it up and held on to it, and that might not have been a bad idea. How is my next turn? My next turn, I'm losing all kinds of people. I'm losing all kinds of people. Yeah. I don't get this because I used all my movement. What was this? This is the bypass that came off the field. Okay. He made it back. He has to eat now. So he uses his provender, and Romanos has to eat as well. And this is why you have the moved fought markers. Romanos has to eat as well. He has to eat 3. I will take 2 off of here, I guess. And 1 off of here. I'm down. Have to feed Romanos off his own card if possible. So I got foiled, but not completely. This guy's not going to be able to bring his loot home, I think, because he's been cut off now. I would have been able to trace through my 2 my 2 bypasses otherwise. But this guy is gone, and we'll show up 1, 2, 3 here. He's not dead from the game. And his stuff goes away. There's the treachery, which will hit Edessa. There's the other guy more. No, they're... So 4. I'm not going to pay because I don't have anything to pay. I could pay over here to try to keep him. I'm not going to. So, I don't know. He just doesn't seem worth. And he does not convert over. And then the final card is Shataturus. What do I do with him? There's not much here. I could march forward. He's only got a 2 movement, so he's not going to be able to join my main force. He has food. I think I lay siege. And I can siege that. That gets me to the end of campaign. Nobody's got a lot of siege going on. We hit wastage. He's okay. He's not okay. Back. Take a provender. Cards are more valuable, I guess. Although I may have to run. Wastage over here. Take a cart. I've got enough carts to get me home. That's all I really need. I'm off on my own here. He's fine. He's not fine. He's not fine. I lose a provender. I could lose this, but it gives me an extra command for the first time or whatever. A lot of coins. I'll take a cart. See, that loot is going to be valuable because I can extend someone, and that's a big deal. Now, I can extend a lot of people. My army is going to be in the field. The Seljuk army is going to disintegrate. Alp Arslan is going to go away unless yeah, he's going away. Which means only Erasigi is going to be on the board, and he's not in a position to muster, so he's got problems. Looks bad for the Seljuks. Getting stuck down here worked out badly anyway, even with 2 cards to fuck with the Roman actions. We did the wastage. We're on reset, and well, we got it right once. And we move into the autumn. That was pretty exciting. We managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because of the guy that's gone. And we only needed 12, wait, I don't know if I counted. But anyway, we got close to our point value, but we're still being beaten. That means the Romans are going to get a point on us over what's happening. This guy's going to have to run, and it's still pretty damn close, and it's not like we made a lot of victory points there. And then the Romans also have these things available to them. They could conquer another city and get another couple of points from that. I feel like the Seljuks are in bad shape here. They're tough to play. I gotta say that. Their raid requirements are so high. We shall see. Second winter, and again, the battery didn't charge all the way. It did much of it. Here we go. Bad omens. Hold play on Seljuk command card to inspect the top two. This was very powerful, but not enough to stop Romanus from being able to strike. Command confusion. Hold play on a Roman lord in battle. His missile and melee each strike second. Useful if you're attacking. I don't think it does me much good. They're going to strike second anyway. And then over here, Aleppo independence. We had this before. Unless Aleppo is conquered, it's friendly to both sides now, but neither can withdraw inside. Aleppo can now yield Seljuk auto victory. I guess I just put this here. This is interesting. This is not a play once. It's possible at each winter that the Aleppo independence goes away, but it can become independent again. Right now it's friendly, so the Seljuks can't take it. That confused the hell out of me at first. But once it goes neutral, well, once it goes pro-Roman again, or just pro-Roman, it can be. Assassination plot in Tyre. Unless Ibn Khan is within 2 of Aleppo. Ibn Khan's gone. Permanently disband him. Otherwise shift his service 1 calendar box. No problem. How's our pay situation? It's not good. Alp-Arslan leaves the board, or will be leaving the board. He doesn't have any money, doesn't have any loot. He shall be gone. Move him down here so I remember. Aslan Bey is fine. I don't need to pay, but I may want to. He is not at a friendly location. I can't pay him the loot, I believe. Which means I'm kind of stuck with it. I was not able to get that loot home because I didn't have a path. There we go. Let me make sure about that he can't pay. But I'm pretty sure. Friendly locale only. Yeah. Okay. Free of siege, too. So you would be able to, like, convert it to victory points, which probably are better, but I don't know. You could lose the game by not having someone. What is going on? Oh, see, I was wondering about this thing. Look at all the lords that we've, like, not mustered in this game. That's very weird. Very, very weird. Over here, what do we got? We got Biranius. He will pay himself. He will pay himself. I have enough coin that I want to stay alive. So these 2 stacks move forward. And the Emperor will pay himself as well, because I want to keep him in the game. Romanos, he's fine with 1 coin. I'm okay with that. Next turn he'll be able to pay himself. I could do it now. Probably wouldn't hurt. But again, it might mean that I lose somebody more important. I don't know. And the danger is that I lose the money due to loot, to being beaten in some way. And then on to the mighty muster. This is the part of the game that I dread the most always. The muster and then the set up the plan. That's where all the pre-planning and all this thinking has to happen. And it's not guaranteed. Like, you can't look at it and say, I know I'm going to do X, Y, Z, right? But you can definitely put together a plan that's horrible for you. That just doesn't work for what you want to do. Once again, the Seljuks don't get to play. This is really a problem. I need to move my marker forward another turn at some point. And I don't have an easy way to do it. I'm thinking that I just have to fall back on there so that I can tax or whatever. He's also the only guy I got, which means I get his 4 cards and 3 no commands. Ouchie. Over here, we have lots of options. Everyone except him gets to play. Interesting questions that I always have with the Levian campaign is I'm in a situation like this. I can muster stuff. These armies are going to return to Constantinople. That doesn't always happen in the games. But you get a fair number of them they have to return to their court, to their home seat. But it does create this sort of, do I want to use my commands to build up, forces or whatever? Whatever I build up is usually on a timer. So one of the things I could do is bring more commanders in, or more lords in. That's cool, because it means I can muster those lords next turn, but it does mean that their timer starts early. I don't know quite what I'm going to do. I feel pretty potent right now compared to the Seljuks, so I don't really feel a great need to levy a lot of forces, probably to play any kind of military cards or anything. What I am going to have the desire to do, well, maybe capture another location, but I'm also going to have some desire, well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a desire to bring in more lords, because the more lords I have, I'm just able to control the game better, even if I don't really use them for much. Although the problem with lots of lords scattered around is I end up having to tax them to keep them on the board, just to keep their mustering capabilities and whatnot. But it does give me opportunities that I might not have otherwise. And especially with the return to seat, oh look, an even bigger Roman army or Byzantine army ready to roll out. Not that I need it now, but I can always split that army, maybe make a lieutenant or something. I don't know. Do some interesting stuff, I guess. Oh boy. Earlier I talked about my little lights that I've got a box of them there. There's like a dozen of them. These solar powered little night lights. I used to have these, but I put them in the same kind of locations as I had them before, and they're just not getting enough light during the day to charge, I think. First couple days they were bright, but now they're very, very dim. And I'm kind of like, oh shit. I don't know, the ones, these look fancy and expensive and everything, but they don't seem to charge as well as the ones I remember, which is kind of a pity. I don't know. I could bring them in every day and charge them up, putting them under, or move them around. But where I need them, it happens to be relatively dark during the daytime even. Bucked up, I want to spend this loot during pay. Push this ahead. I'm not sure if I paid a coin to do that already. I probably did. Fuck it, I got tons of coins here. Actually, there we go. Yeah. Lots of mustering going on. It's starting to get uglier and uglier. The Armenian garrisons are in play, which are going to strengthen any attempt to try to take, well, this one's gone, but to take this back, it's been stymied. I gave siege weapons over to him. I don't know, a two-point city's tough. That's like 2 militia and an infantry. But I don't know. I gave him the fortresses. Rebuild this. Get rid of a half point there. Keep the other one. See what happens. I thought about, well, I can't ditch this now. I would have had to ditch it before the turn. And it's like, there's no way, Like, I can't plan that far in advance. But I thought about giving him something different in order to help him. I'm low on food over here with this force. That's a problem. Not that the Seljuks can do anything about it. And that's going to put me to call to arms. I still got to clean this shit up. As you start to spiral more and more leaders into play, and there's probably a limit to how many you want. These guys are less valuable, although this guy with his 3 lordship is kind of useful. But I wanted the troops with the longer service record in play here. As you start to get more and more leaders on the board, you start, I know what I was thinking of. I was thinking of, but it couldn't be him, it could have been one of the others, trying to set it up so they didn't have to go home. Because next turn, this is all the Seljuks are going to have, unless he manages to muster more people. But yeah, as you start to spin up more and more lords, you get more and more muster actions. And you can put lots of these capabilities out and all kind of stuff like that. For the levy, can't do anything with this, can't do anything with that. I can do one of these. Where am I going to want to put it? Don't know yet. What you end up with is lots of carts. And because of the way supply works in this, a big army actually has an easier time supplying itself. Yeah, it's kind of a mixed thing, okay? A small army can forage off the land better, but a big army with all those carts available can stretch all the way back to the capital. And these guys can, even if they're out here. Actually, I think I want it there. Because that cuts the Seljuk line better. So yeah, that's my call to arms. Be on the campaign plan. I'm going to back away on this because I want to mellow out a little bit. Maybe read. Probably just fuck around with my damn computer games, but that's life. Yeah, the game has reached sort of a tipping point where the Seljuks are too weak to really operate. They're going to get away without losing too many points this turn. But they're not going to gain. They're not going to improve their position. Afsin Bey has to fall back. Looks like a G to me, man. And like to keep from losing the game. And then the other side of it is I'm just going to push the borders on them to the point where they're not going to be able to get the points come year 3 either. So victory points are just going to start collecting up on the Byzantine side, and we'll definitely finish this year. It may be a situation where I want to call the game simply because the writing's on the wall. That was one kind of cool thing about Plantagenet. By playing the whole campaign, it was like, because it's all of the major, it's one major war of one of the major Plantagenet dynastic struggles after the other. And how well you do in one changes what happens in the next. Victory feels like it should be assessed on each one separately and then accumulated or something. Like I kind of feel like the Yorks won the War of the Roses, even though in the end it was maybe not the Lancastrians, but essentially an anti-York faction. You can argue the Tudors, yeah, they drew their line from the Lancastrian line, but I mean, the Yorkists won by Edward IV, and then after that, Richard III fucked things up. Is basically what happened. And it feels kind of funny because honestly, the way the game is set up, whoever wins the last scenario, the preceding scenario, has an advantage going into the next one. So it's like, if the goal is to win overall, you kind of want to lose that first one or the penultimate one. I don't know. Anyway, what am I babbling about? Who cares? But this particular one, like most of the levying campaigns, it's quite possible to get yourself in a position where you're really not able to recover from it. And that's fine, a lot of war games are that way. I feel a lot better about what happened here, although I can't make any broad sweeping, discussions about, wow, this game sure is unbalanced against the Seljuks, but I can tell you this, the Seljuks have a harder time. They are the harder side to play by far. Because the Romans can just throw this big army together. And yeah, in that first game, I think we had an abortive combat that I couldn't do, that essentially the Seljuks basically won a close run battle that would have put them in the lead in the game. It may be that they need to do that they need to win a major battle early on to be able to function, but I was just unable to amass a force the likes of the Byzantine army that can eventually happen. And I think that's really a problem. I'm not sure how to work around it. There may be a way, but it's that is the big question and the big problem you have to face. What do you do with the Seljuks to compete with the eventual army the Byzantines are going to have? Especially when it's all together with this, and it has a 5 command rating, and you, as the Seljuks, have to be the aggressor into Roman territory. Now, one thing that you don't do is you don't siege things, but that is, that was probably a mistake. I don't know how much it cost me, but yeah. That, it didn't feel like it cost me much, but then it got me stuck down in this traverse and unable to get away from where the Romans were going to come, and I had to back up and all kind of stuff, and I wasted a lot of effort with the Seljuks. So I'm not saying that I played the Seljuks terribly well. I'm just saying that they are easier to fuck up with by far. Only a problem with having a lot of lords. You still get the same number of cards to activate. Now, a lot of lords in an army, that's not such a big deal. But I'm finding myself, hey, this guy's not going to be able to tax. I would have really liked to do that to be able to extend him out, but that's okay. I can do that on some other turn or something. This guy, so I want to use Berenius to help supply this army, but obviously Romanus is better. Any uses of Berenius are taking away from his opportunities. However, I think I'm okay. We shall see. So It's a supply thing, really. All right. I front loaded all of Afson Bay because I got to get out of there. I have the advantage of all Turkic cav. So this only cost me 1, even though I've got loot. But it ain't perfect. He's got 3 commands. I can grab myself. I can't go further than this. That's the problem. And I can grab myself a couple of provisions. But I can fall back. Oh, not that many. Well, actually, yes. No. Oh, because I have to eat. Do I want to eat my loot? No, I'm overloaded anyway. Other things that I failed to do. I didn't give Manuel a command. He really needed one to rebuild that fortress. It's okay. We'll deal. But yeah, I didn't program him in for that. Collected up enough goodies that I can move my force. That's all. Settles in for his siege. He's damn close to, what is this called? Ani or Ari? I don't know. It's hard to tell with the script. But I don't count on being able to take this, although sieging it causes interesting things to happen. I don't think anyone can muster there if I'm sieging it. And eventually, maybe I'll be able to attack it, although it's not going to happen. It's winter. I'm not going to get that far. Taxations to get me some coins. Romanos gets his last card. Now, this is a hard call. At a 1/3 chance of just taking this, or I can assault it. I do have 2 walls versus their 1 wall. It means I only get to go 2 rounds of combat, but a fort is just not that strong. It's just the garrison, so I think I will indeed attack it. Unfortunately for me, the Varangian guards suck for this. The Skola are very good, and I have to use him first. Yeah. So assault we go with. Now, if I'm going to do an assault, that is, I think, an action, and I have 4, not 5 anymore. I think storming the castle. I gotta look. It's a single command action. So I think I could do it multiple times. More importantly, though, let's see. Go to Aftermath. I'm not sure if that ends me. A marked move fought, but that's fine. Skip command actions remaining, which means I could pillage it, but pillaging it is bad. That'll flip over if I succeed to Seljuk. I can grab supplies. That's probably the best thing I can do. It doesn't really help me, but it's okay. The thing is, I have 9 carts. That lets me go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 easily. So yeah, I can grab 3 supplies for that. I said something that implied an incorrect fact. The fort walls are 1 to 3. The siege defenses are 1s. However, the Romans were completely protected by their walls, and we have wiped out the garrison, which means we get to the ending of the storm. The defenders are all routed. We get to sack the stronghold, which means we get the conquered marker, a coin, and a provision. I don't know. We can put the provision. I'll put it here, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Coin, definitely give that to Romanos. And what else? We get the victory marker, which is just a 1 point, but we get this as well. So that's 2 more Roman points here. And we have to feed. But we have taken Mempit. We've used up all of our Romanos pieces, which sucks or not, depending on how you look at things. I don't know. But that's going to put us over here. I got to swap batteries. The game is not over. It's very close to over. I might have been able, well, no, I would have had to leave somebody behind to siege this, and I just don't have enough time in winter to succeed in that. Have I fucked up? Probably. I could have screwed around with his command cards. It might not have made a difference, because so far it would have been Diogenes. I could have done this, but that doesn't help. An ambush only works in a field battle. There's no way I would win a field battle against this army. So yeah, there weren't a lot of options for me. The cards, bunch of no commands here, but here we get into Chartoris, I don't know. And his first attempt, which was a siege, failed. I forgot to put an extra siege marker in. That means he gets 2 rounds to try to take out the militia here. And again, could get something good out of it. Absolutely nothing happens. I mean, there's fighting and dying and whatnot, right? But, oh, I forgot my walls are down 1. I screwed up. Oops. Oh well. Yeah, I wasn't able to overcome the walls and the defenses, but the same here. But I got 1 more round because I have 1 more siege marker there. Take this garrison out too. I don't get a victory point for this. I'm just regaining something that was mine. However, I do get to plunder it for, not that, a coin and an eats. I eat the eat. The coin is desired though. And this is now no longer a Seljuk location. It doesn't matter. The seat would relocate to here, but it doesn't make any damn difference at this point. Which means we run to the end of the winter. There's no sieges going on. We hit wastage. He's got wastage. I think a province or a Providence. Don't have one there. I should have coined. This guy does. Get rid of an Arts of War. This guy does. I want this. I want that. I'm just going to get rid of a provender. Over here, guess I get rid of a cart. I don't know. And this guy, I don't think I took from him. He's probably not going to assault anything. We'll get rid of that. Oh, okay. We reset, no biggie. Aleppo is not conquered. Bounty. We get to generate a victory point. We will take that away from the Romans instead of putting victory markers there of some sort or another. Seljuk unity. Okay, time to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was a mistake. 6, 7, 8, 9. I needed 12. That sounds like 3 Roman victory points. Let me recount. 1, 2, 3, because I lost this. That's why. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So 3 more conquered markers. These are just, to note the victory points. The same thing with the loot. Way in the lead now. Winter quarters. Gotta go home. All the way home, but that lets us gather an even larger army. He's home already. Seljuk diplomacy. On a 1 or 2, they just become pro-Roman again. They stay, which means that's not even a way to win. And the levy is going to move forward. It looks hopeless for the Seljuks, but I will keep going because I'm having enough fun. It is funny. I mean, even though, the Seljuks fucked up, whatever, I'm still enjoying the game in a way that I wasn't in their first playing. The first playing was just too painful. And that's so often the case with levy and campaign for me. I think when I did Almoravid and when I did the series of Inferno, Almoravid, and then Plantagenet, I did them in close enough proximity that I kind of remembered things. Yes, Plantagenet was very different in a lot of ways, but it's still like has enough similarity that some of the thoughts, like keeping coins around and stuff like that, although I don't even remember if that mattered as much for Plantagenet. I know that like lords were dying and stuff through weird mechanisms, and that was a big deal. The only real gripe I had about that one was the campaign system linking all the wars together. I think that had issues, but I mean, once I get some feel for it, I do actually really enjoy it, although this one is turning out to be a blowout. The last one was a much closer game, I think, but they both lost, so that's not really cool. And it was just so frustrating to like fail so completely and to screw up so many things. Here, I'm probably still screwing stuff up. It's not trivial by any means to hold everything in mind. It certainly, screwed up in terms of like Seljuk strategy or whatever. I feel like my mistake was coming down this way. I should have just built myself up for activating, but I don't know. That I would have had to face that anyway. That thing would have come down and would have, forced me to lose my position, and thus because I couldn't tax here. That's the whole problem. I probably shouldn't have fallen back here. I probably should have fallen back to my homes, but being in them isn't terribly good either. Although everybody could have gathered here and then moved here. And You know, I could have taxed and gotten coins in place, so I wouldn't have been in the position that I was in, trying to rely on my loot that I couldn't run away with. Anyway, let's send this up. I'm expecting the Romans. I don't know if they can win, because they can't kill Alp, but they might be able to finish this off, and that might be good enough. Oh, you know, I could actually go here. I don't know. I don't think that's terribly advantageous. It's hard to tell because I don't know which of these is going to go away. You know, it's going to depend on where I go. Let's take a look at what lords I have, because that's going to affect me. Right now, because I could operate together, but a lieutenancy is not the same. And he only has 2 lordship. So it might make sense for me to start in the other side, whatever that means. This guy has a bunch of Turkish horse. He starts up there. I might want to pull Afsin Bey down because of that. I do have this guy available now. He's pretty cool. He's not pure Turkic horse. The Turkic horse gives me a lot more mobility, and I almost feel like mobility is what I want. Bowman I do not have yet, so I'm thinking about getting this guy, which I think means I want him down here. I did not spend. I don't think I had money to begin with. I did not spend during the levy to get this, and that should get removed. There we go. Knew it was there somewhere. Yeah, that should be removed, and I'm not going to be able to place that. I can put a coin on it, but I'm not going to have that available to me, just like I didn't on the first turn. Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough, but we'll see what opens up. And then this goes up to 15. Now, I don't know if that's in play. I think that was just for one season. So let me check that. That's a repeatable card. It could come up again, but still, I've got a humongous goal ahead of me with less forces than I started by far. Remember, I had him and I had Alp Arslan at the start of the campaign, and I'm facing a bigger threat, one that is definitely more dangerous. But we shall see. There is a fair amount of coinage here. It's all mostly there, but I should be able to keep everybody in the field with all those coins. All right, up it goes. Something weird. I'm going to toss this because it shifts Afsin Bey's cylinder 1 space, or his service calendar 1 space, which would push it back to there. I don't know. He's got 2 coins, so he could pay that off. Yeah, screw it. We'll leave this. It's not worth. I'm looking at the chance of getting an Arts of War next turn, of getting this particular draw. There's a fairly large deck. I just don't think it's worth it. I think keeping this here, who knows? You know, I might be able to use that for something at the very least. I can bump him forward by downgrading someone, but I don't really need to. I got tons of money. Yeah, I don't know. As you start to get more and more of these capabilities out, and hold cards for that matter, deck gets smaller and smaller, so there would have been a higher chance than, say, the Seljuks, who have a huge decks because they have almost nothing out, but whatever. All right, up for real this time.